going to do a little announcement from the Middle East Peace stuff. Let's do this before the vote.
Good morning, First Unitarian. My name is Eric Kolwitz, a member of your Board of Trustees, as well as a co-chair of your Middle East Justice Project. And I have some very important information for you all. We, the Middle East Justice Project, come to you today asking for your help. We know it has been a difficult week processing the results of the election and hope this small call to action can be a first small step in a long journey of resistance that will span the next 4 years and beyond. Everyone's favorite progressive senators, Sanders, Merkley, and Welch, have introduced joint resolutions of disapproval to block the sale of $20 billion of offensive weapons being used to commit war crimes and crimes against humanity against civilians in Gaza by the Israeli military. By continuing to support the actions of the Israeli government and military, the United States is itself in violation of multiple domestic laws, such as the Lely Law, the Foreign Assistance Acts, and the Arms Export Control Act. We invite you to read the fact sheet at the link in the program and to reach out to Senators Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper to urge their support for the joint resolution of disapproval. The vote will take place on or around November 22nd, so it is urgent that we act now. The Senators' contact information is listed on your programs, and more detailed information is available on handouts that will be available as you leave the sanctuary. And I believe Ann Sabah happened to place those right there. If you look back there in the back, Ann Sabah has a stack, and you can grab one of those for you as well. Thank you for your time and attention. We hope to have your support in holding our elected officials accountable. Also, if you're on the end and there's any space next to you, we're expecting a lot of people. If you can just scoot in, because we have a lot of folks that we want to make sure we get seated this morning. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it over to Charlotte.
Good morning. We have a full house today. That's good. My name is Charlotte Broadkern, and I serve on the Board of Trustees here at First Unitarian. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on the journey of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. If this is your first visit here today, please let the offering basket pass you by. Your presence is gift enough. We hope you'll join us for coffee and conversation in the community room after the service, and we'd love to get to know you better and answer any questions that you might have. You can also visit the information table next to the exit from the community room. Today, our offering at First Unitarian is donated to the Native American Housing Circle. So on the first and third Sundays, we always donate our basket to a group, and all cash and checks will be donated in full unless designated otherwise. We'll learn about this organization chosen for our offering later in the service. If you're looking for ways to engage with our community and support the work of our congregation, please visit the opportunities table, which is in the very back of the community room after the service. There are a variety of activities that would welcome more helping hands, and we'd love to match you with an opportunity that interests you. Please remember to silence your cell phone and other electronic devices. And, hi, Leslie. Oh, yes. 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 Oh,
I might find you up here. Well, if I'm up here, I'm kind of looking for something. So
really?
right now, we're looking for volunteers to serve in our youth program on Sundays starting in January with middle schoolers. Would you be interested?
I don't know. I'm pretty busy. I'm living my best retired life, and I'm really enjoying working with our younger kids.
Which I appreciate, but we really have a fun space downstairs for our youth and middle schoolers, and they're really ready to come together and create a community together. They're eager to connect with each other and build in meaningful ways, and it really is our obligation to create a safe space at church for the youth to speak their truth. Without volunteers, we won't be able to start in January.
Yeah, but I don't have very much experience with middle schoolers.
I will help you. You will be trained. You will be trained, and I'll have lots of support so that you feel supported and comfortable. Middle schoolers are so much fun, and they need trusted adults from our congregation who are willing to hold space for them to be themselves.
Well, maybe, but middle schoolers intimidate me. I don't know any TikTok dances, and I don't know how to use skibbity in a sentence. I'm not sure I can relate to kids these days.
Our kids are laughing. They know how to use skibbity in a sentence. Yep. As long as you enjoy kids and like to laugh and have fun, you would do great. Right now, we are looking for volunteers to facilitate lessons on world religions the first Sunday of the month, and for volunteers to hang out with youth in our youth space for some student-led fun on the second Sunday of the month. It might be playing ping pong, playing a card game, leading a book study, or doing a craft.
I do like hanging out. You mean I could just chill with youth, listening to music and doing crafts?
I mean, if that's what interests you, yes, just fill out the online form or see me in the community room for the QR code.
Do you think a middle schooler would teach me a TikTok dance? Or how to use skibbity in a sentence?
We are creating physical, emotional, and spiritual safety in this space. Once you build relationships with middle school, you'll be surprised what they can teach you.
All right. At this time, we'll take a moment to greet the people who are sitting around you.
Whoever you are and wherever you are so very welcome here. Particularly if this is your first or second time joining us, we're glad you're here. Please join me in singing our song of welcome. We are many, we are one, the light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul, a place has been made for you. Welcome.
Good morning. We are Mitch and Kate Mazzata in our call to worship. Some of you have come to church today seeking solace and comfort. There are others here who will offer it freely. Some of you have come desperately needing a joyful sound. Some have come to joyfully make some. Some have come needing laughter and lightness. Others have brought laughter to spare. Some have come here needing sanctuary for the Spirit. There are people here who will open their hearts. Some of you have come seeking respite from schedules, deadlines, and too many obligations. That respite is here. For this hour, you can be at peace. Some of you have come needing to belong to something or to someone. Others have brought warm hands, outreached, coffee, and free hugs.
Some of you have come not knowing the tune, or how to harmonize, or where to fit within the melody of the community. It's okay. There are others here who will fill in the blanks, carry the music, and coax out your voice. Here, in this sanctuary of the Spirit, in this community of love and justice, in this place that holds our deepest dreams and highest aspirations, we give thanks for all who have come, for pain and for gladness, for want and for at one meant, for music and for silence, for words and for that which words cannot express. We gather in this common sacred space to grieve our losses honestly, to love what we love without apology, to know ourselves as the children of creation, to rest in the arms of the holy, and to strive for what we believe is possible. Blessed.
Just want to wish Steve Sinclair a happy birthday today.
Don't let me grow bitter, I pray. Give me strength to carry on my way. I'm leaning on you like a wooden cane. Well, I'm walking through the valley of pain. I'm believing there's a reason for this trial. This too shall pass in a little while. Well, Lord, have mercy if I complain. Well, I'm walking through the valley of pain. Yes, I'm walking through the valley of pain. Paint me in a river of my tears. Whisper hope and truth, courage in my ears. But when I'm hurting, I've got a dangerous tongue, and I lose it and I use it like a gun. Won't you stop me if you see me taking aim? Well, I'm walking through the valley of pain. Yes, I'm walking through the valley of pain. I'm walking through the valley of pain. Paint me in a river of my tears. Don't let me grow bitter, I pray. Give me the strength to carry on my way. I don't let the darkness drive me insane. I'm walking through the valley of pain. Yes, I'm walking through the valley of pain. Yes, I'm walking through the valley of pain.
Good morning, the young and the young at heart. Anybody who's comfortable want to come on down for a story? And as always, I encourage you to sit on this side so you can see pictures. And I was reminded recently that I should probably introduce myself when I come up. Have a seat, guys. I am Leslie Harvey, the Director of Family Ministry and Inclusion. And in most UU churches, if you're new to the UU faith, we do kind of time of all ages, where we read a story or read a book, and then we get sung out of the sanctuary, and we go to classes, those that are comfortable doing so. So, guys, we've been talking about God, and we've been learning about different religions. We started with Hinduism, and we're going to learn a little bit more today. Does anyone want to tell me, what are your thoughts on God? What do you think God is? It's everything and everyone. Beautifully stated, Eliza. What do you think, Liliana?
I think it's God is the nicest person ever they see, and then they help homeless people.
The nicest person ever, and he helps homeless people. One more idea.
I think God is music.
Ooh, God is music. Wow, I bet that warms Miss Charlotte's heart. And Miss Leah's heart. All right, so we've read some pages in this story called What is God? And I'm going to read a few more today. Look at this picture. What do they look like? How are they feeling, do you think? They look a little mad. I wonder why people would be mad about God. Let's find out. I think they're fighting about God too, you're right. You see, every religion is different, and people in every religion understand God in their own way. Sometimes people of one religion want everyone to know what is God in the same way that they understand God. Sometimes people of one religion don't like people of another religion just because their religion is different, or they don't understand the other religion. And sometimes people of one religion start fights with people of another religion because they don't understand that most religions have a lot of things that are the same. How are most religions almost the same? Most religions teach that you should be good to other people, just like you would want other people to be good to you. Most religions say that you should not lie. Most religions say that you should not steal. Most religions say you should not hurt people. There are many ways. All religions are the same. If everyone thought about all the ways in which all the different religions were the same, maybe people wouldn't have so many fights about all the different answers to the question, what is God? Praying is a way to try to talk to God, and people of all religions pray. When people pray, they try to talk to God from very deep in their hearts and about something that is very important to them. People pray to God many different ways. People pray while sitting or standing, or they pray by reading from their holy book. And people of different religions pray in many different places, called churches or synagogues or mosques or temples. But you can really pray anywhere, by your bed or in a park or on a mountain, as long as when you pray, you really mean it. Are you ready to go downstairs or upstairs if you're preschool? Ready? Let's do it.
Good morning. Would you please rise in body and or spirit and join me in doing some singing? If you want to follow along with the music, you can do so with the teal hymnal. It's number 1031. The words will also be on the screens behind me. Please join me in singing, "May I be filled with loving kindness." May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May
Good morning. I'm Arnie from the Giving in Action team, and as Charlotte said, on the first and third Sunday of every month, we give our plate away to a local nonprofit doing good work in the area. Before I introduce Lucille, I'd like us to just remember that the church we're in right now, our church, my church, your church, is on stolen land that was brutally taken. And it's just important that we acknowledge that and acknowledge that genocide in some ways is still going on. It's just important that we realize that. And I want to introduce Lucille Eckelhart. It's my honor. She's been doing this work for many, many years. And she's from the Native American Housing Circle.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see so many people here together in togetherness. And this is certainly a time we need as much of that as we can bring together, bring to pass. As Arnie stated, I'm Lucille Eckelhart. I'm a citizen of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma, and we are one of the 48 historical tribes of Colorado. we spent most of our time here in Colorado at the base of what is now known as Pikes Peak. We hosted Zebulon Pike for almost a year as he attempted to scale the mountain that is now named for him, but he never made it to the top. And so one of my thoughts is maybe we need to rename that peak. But that's a matter for the future. And lots of like-minded people who work on those kinds of issues. So, as stated in your program, the Native American Housing Circle was founded in the year 2019. We began as a coalition of like-minded people, both Native American and non-Native people, who were concerned about the overrepresentation of Native American peoples in Greater Denver, suffering either direct homelessness or unstable housing. And that had been the situation for many, many years. And through the years since, the group met as a coalition once a month. And many of those at the table provide services to the unstably housed and the homeless. And after 2.5 years, the decision was it should be its own nonprofit organization. And thus, we are formally the Native American Housing Circle. And this is the second time I've been invited to address you, and I want to thank you again for your generosity to help the work of the Native American Housing Circle. In your program, which Arnie was kind enough to put together, this year alone, we have served as of September 30th, 174 Native American individuals and families with housing assistance. Presently, in our capacity building phase, we do mainly rent assistance and security deposits. And we work with families to ensure that once we provide assistance, that they can manage to the best of their ability on their own, but we also share other resources from the coalition of the Native American Housing Circle should they need additional assistance. But so far, we've, thanks to the generosity of many funders, we've provided more than $174,000 in rent and security deposit. And obviously, as you know, as the weather gets colder, the volume of folks needing that kind of assistance will only grow. So I am just so pleased as one of the founders of the Native American Housing Circle and currently its board chair to just thank each and every one of you who have made our work much easier. And we hope to do much more. The ultimate vision is we will be providing everything from homeless to home ownership to support Native people in Greater Denver. And for those that don't know, we now number, according to the 2020 census, almost 100,000 people in Greater Denver. We're basically invisible because we don't tend to live in neighborhoods, but we're here, and we've always been here, and we will continue to be here. So thank you very much.
Your job, my son, is to follow the music wherever it goes. You gotta run when the wolves of stagnation start wearing your favorite clothes. No, home isn't a place anymore. It's the tears in your eyes when you wake up to this life. Home isn't safe anymore. This life will rip you to bits to get to the truth that's inside. The only stillness in this world comes when you give into the spin and get taken by the tides. Get taken by the tides. Your job, my daughter, is to go down to the water. Let go of the burdens that could drag you to the bottom. Strip down to the bare you, let the cold wind cherish you. Offer up to the night sky this body that carries you. Do, 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 do. Every little thing that you do. No, home isn't a place anymore. It's the tears in your eyes when you wake up to this life. Home isn't safe anymore. This life will rip you to bits to get to the truth that's inside. The only stillness in this world comes when you give into the spin and get taken by the tides. Get taken by the tides. Taken by the tide.
Your gifts, freely given this morning, are gratefully received. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions, your generosity, your support of one of our wonderful local nonprofits. Thank you. Before I hold up some joys and concerns of our larger community and offer a prayer, I want to invite Brian Stone up here. Brian has something he would like to tell us.
Thanks, Mike, for the space. I'm here to tell you about some news in my life. Christmas Eve services will be my last services here at First Unitarian in my role as choir director. The season of my life has led me to needing more time to spend as a father and a husband, and resigning from my position here at First Unitarian is the best way to support my family in making that time. In the many church jobs I have held over my life, there is only one where I have felt not just as a member of the staff, but as a member of the larger community. Thank you for being that place where I feel encouraged and excited to bring my family and, most importantly, be myself. Thank you for the welcome I have felt since my very first day,
Thank you for your willingness to dive into music making with me. Thank you for allowing me to challenge and push you in various musical ways. And thank you for your voices, your spirit, and your community. Let's make a bunch more music before Christmas Eve.
You are going to be deeply missed, my friend. I want to hold up this morning that Ted Ocker, who is the lifelong love of Colleen Bryan, is in the hospital this morning as we gather. They're doing some tests, and we send them strength and courage and hope that he will be returning home very, very soon. I also want to hold up this morning all those people who are living precariously in this very, very expensive world. People who are living paycheck to paycheck or on fixed incomes, people who are trying to find a job that pays enough to actually live on. If that is you, and you are in danger of eviction or having your power turned off or having enough food to eat, your church can help. We have a discretionary fund that exists for exactly that purpose. We can buy groceries, pay a utility or a pharmacy bill or other short-term needs. Send me an email, leave me a message, catch me after service. You are a warrior, you are worthy, and we would love to help if we can. By way of a prayer today, I've adapted some words from Cassandra Gale Fisher. When I say I have found my tribe, what I mean is that I have found a community of people that I enjoy sharing the earth with. Really, my tribe is the people I stand next to while I cook, while I work, while I pray, while I mourn, while I grow, and who stand next to me. Life comes at us one moment after the next, and how we respond defines us. My tribe is made simply of the people who have responded beautifully, as well as they could, as effectively, and as hilariously, and as deliciously, and as disastrously, and as helpfully as they could. My tribe is not all people I like. It's not all people I agree with or even get along with. There are people I love dearly who I cannot stand to be in the same room with for very long. But those moments that come at us change everything. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's startling, but there's always change. A deeper smile line, a new scar, a work of art. My tribe is not a still pond. Some days it rages and thrashes like the ocean in a storm. Some days it is all four seasons at once. We are many and varied and ever changing, and we're doing it all together here on this planet. This is what we do. We offer of ourselves. We share and accept from one another. And who we are and what we want to do with our lives becomes part of what we are all doing with our lives. We become a whole by being together. By joining our flames, our passions, we light the way toward a future. Amen.
love for the first time in my life. My eyes are wide open. Oh, my lover, for the first time in my life, my eyes can see. I see the wind, oh, I see the trees. Everything is clear in my heart. I see the clouds, oh, I see the sky. Everything is clear in our world. Oh, my love, for the first time in my life, my mind is wide open. Oh, my lover, for the first time in my life, my mind can feel. I feel the sorrow, oh, I feel dreams. Everything is clear in my heart. I feel life, oh, I feel love. Everything is clear in our world.
Thank you for that. Feel free to stand up and stretch for a second if you'd care to. So a few months ago, I came across a therapeutic article about the difference between clean pain and dirty pain, which was a way of thinking about that I hadn't come across before. Clean pain, turns out, is the kind you experience in direct proportion to the painful things that happen to you. Stubbing your toe, biting your tongue, getting kicked in the shin, and so on. This extends to emotional or psychological pain, the pain of rejection or a failure, or loneliness, or losing a job. Clean pain can come from grief when we lose someone that we love. That hole that's left in our lives, in our hearts, where that person used to be, hurts, aches, even burns. Dirty pain is when we resist or avoid or deny or run away from or blow pain out of proportion or project it onto others or spend our energy blaming or cursing or resenting or otherwise spinning stories or worries or additional layers of messy stuff onto the initial pain we experienced. Some fairly trivial examples of dirty pain would be someone thinking like, oh, I think this is the third headache I've had this month. What if there's something seriously wrong with me? Didn't my cousin have something like this and die of a brain aneurysm? And then you lose sleep worrying about this stuff. Or something like, oh, God, why did she break up with me? She said it wasn't me, but what if it was? What if I'm just unlovable? I'm such a failure at life. So like dirty pain is all that spin that we put on initial hurts. Dirty pain doesn't tend to heal. Dirty pain tends to get stuck. It has many forms. It almost always comes out, though, in unexpected and usually destructive ways. There's a formula therapists use for this. Pain plus resistance to pain equals dirty pain. It is reasonably analogous to say that clean pain is what Buddhists refer to as pain. And dirty pain is what Buddhists refer to as suffering. This is what I believe Buddhists are teaching when they say that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Which makes sense to me. And I think it's a helpful, constructive way to think about these things, except, at least in my experience, those apparently neat distinctions get pretty messy pretty quickly when they're applied to real life. I'll give you an example. Some of you know I had a difficult relationship with my father, when growing up at least. Most of my memories when I was a child, my memories of my father are of being belittled, being called dummy and lazy and otherwise found inadequate due to some real or perceived failure on my part. He wasn't a violent man, but his command of language was extraordinary. Far better than mine is today. And his weapon of choice was a wicked and a biting sarcasm. He had an impulse toward emotional cruelty that he rarely held in check. And I use that word very intentionally. It was an impulse. It wasn't calculated. Just did it. And I grew up at first hurt and confused, and later a very angry young man who dropped out of high school and left home at 17. Now, by my late 20s, I was struggling with a number of things. I'd found a way to carve a life out for myself, but inside I was kind of a mess. As a lot of people in their late 20s are. Anybody had that experience? Yeah. For me, at least, a lot of it was around my identity as a man and like what that meant and how to be, and trying to figure out where some of those notions I had about manhood came from and why so many of them felt so incomplete and not very healthy. I was reading a lot of books back then on male identity and archetypes and modern masculinity, books with titles like Iron John and Fire in the Belly and many others. And it occurred to me somewhere along the line that, in an archetypal sense, a father, right, in an archetypal sense. So in an ideal sense, right, if a father is someone whose role is to teach community and trust and be a giver of nourishment, help a child make the transition from childhood and manhood, well, I never had one of those. Probably you didn't either. That was a big insight for me at the time. And suddenly, all sorts of things made sense. It was really liberating. Some of my deepest insecurities and most childish habits, emotional blind spots, came clear to me. Some of them were the very ones I had seen in my father that had caused me the most anger and the most pain. Like 10 years after moving out of his house, I was still rebelling against my father, and I didn't even know it. so many of the unreconciled portions of relationships we have with people in our lives, especially with immediate family, are due to exactly these kinds of discrepancies between the expectations that we're kind of taught of what these roles and responsibilities are supposed to be, and then the very human people that we find ourselves actually related to. Amen? I think it's a great spiritual truth that if we are able to let go of our expectations of the people we love, we will be happier and healthier and enjoy a better and deeper relationship with them than we have ever previously allowed ourselves to have. We'll come to know the wonder of someone more fully as they are instead of what we wish them to be. Along those lines, it's also healthy and wise to let go of a bunch of expectations of ourselves, right? Come to know the wonder of ourselves more fully as we are, instead of spinning old stories and wishing we were something else. So back in those days of therapy and searching, I convinced myself what needed to happen was one of those have it all out conversations with my dad. It seemed important that I tell him all the ways he'd let me down, all the ways I had sabotaged our relationship, all the things I'd gotten away with when he wasn't paying attention, all the anger I had for the things he had done or not done. I planned it carefully. I knew just the kind of moment I was waiting for. I knew just how I would phrase things to be most likely to get him to participate and least likely to put him on the defensive. I practiced with my therapist, and I tried it. It was a disaster. You laugh, but I was not laughing at the time. He deflected every attempt I made to talk about issues and events from the past. He changed the subject. He went off on tangents. He got hopelessly bogged down in inconsequential details. He made it so much work to keep that conversation moving and focused that I just about lost my temper. The one thing I knew without a doubt would get me dismissed as a lunatic. Because in my family, right, with our middle-class wannabe white-collar habits and mores, no matter how disrespectful, dismissive, condescending, dysfunctional, snide, biting, or even downright mean someone was to anyone else, we all always understood the first person to raise their voice automatically lost the argument. You know that feeling of being stuck between a rock and a hard place? See, it was evident at that point that my have it all out conversation was not going to happen. And not right then, but a couple months later, it was also evident to me it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's another great spiritual truth that being in relationship with someone we love is way less about getting what we want out of it than it is about learning how to love. But here's where this dirty pain, clean pain thing gets a little messy for me. With the perspective of years, it's clear to me that my father's impulse to cruelty resulted from his own long unreconciled issues from his childhood. An alcoholic father, untreated severe mental illness in the family, losing his brother in World War II, stuff with the Catholic Church I don't even know about. Lots of pain back there. Lots of resistance and denial of that pain, and therefore dirty pain. The kind of pain that my colleague Reverend Jan Christensen refers to when she notes that pain that is not transformed is transmitted. My father transmitted all manner of pain to his family relationships, and I don't believe he was in the least bit aware of it. At least not while he was doing it. And in many ways, the pain that I carried into my young adulthood was also dirty pain. The pain of experiencing scorn from my father when I was a child was something that as a child I had no idea how to deal with or reconcile. And so I developed defense mechanisms. It's what kids do. I learned how to withdraw. I learned how to not need affection or affirmation. I learned how to not give a fig what anybody thought of me. I learned that anger not only felt pretty good, but it scared the people around me. And that was often to my advantage as a juvenile delinquent. Those were behaviors. But they were backed up by a whole belief system I had developed about who I was, what kind of human I was. And inside, if I'm completely honest, I was actually kind of proud about how I had solved the emotional problem of my family. Found ways to survive there. It was a full decade later before I could see those defense mechanisms clearly. Face those things clearly, and only then did I have any power to change them. It was not pleasant. It was lonely and discouraging, and there are ways I'm still working on those things, and I'll be working on those things the rest of my life. Anybody else in that boat? And everything good in my life right now, from my marriage to my beloved church, to the closeness I have with my children and my sisters, even the closeness I had with my dad for the last 20 years of his life, has been possible because of those painful realizations. Now, I'm not sharing any of this because I think I have any unusual enlightenment. I assure you, I am bumbling along through this confusing world just like you are. I'm bringing all this up and telling this story for a very specific reason. A great many of us found the election 11 days ago to be a cause of real pain. Amen? We feel grief and disappointment, loss, anger, and more. It is normal and healthy to feel grief when something we love is taken away, or when something we value is devalued. It's hard to have something we have believed be proven to be untrue. It's hard. Many of us believed right up until last Tuesday that our country would resist giving power to an openly misogynist, racist, convicted criminal who pretty much lies every time his lips move. A shallow, thin-skinned man who has publicly stated and intends to dismantle the very institutions that protect us from people like him. And millions of people have enthusiastically endorsed that agenda. That hurts. Hurts me anyway. I know it hurts many of you. But here's the thing. Let's keep that pain clean. Let's face the fact that this is what our neighbors and fellow citizens want. And this is the country that we are now. Unveiled, unapologetic, and soon to be about the business of taking a wrecking ball to the Republic. I'm not saying we acquiesce or go along with it or just give up. I'm saying let's not let the clean pain of this moment edge over into suffering by imagining that the failure of liberal democratic values to prevail in this moment in history means that the whole liberal project is defunct. It's not. I'm saying, let us hold ever more tightly to the values that give us life. I'm hurting for my country right now. And I know many of you are too. I'm hurting for my country right now, but I am also proud to stand up here or anywhere else and say clearly, women should have self-determination and bodily autonomy. I'm proud to stand up and say, people who have been disenfranchised by centuries of slavery and racism and redlining and other atrocities should have full opportunities and protection under the law, and the history of that horrific oppression deserves to be taught and remembered and learned from. I'm proud to stand in this institution that believes no one should ever have to worry about their safety or their rights because of who they love or how they express their gender or their religion or their authentic self. I'm proud to say in the words of Neil deGrasse Tyson, the good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe it. I believe in science. I believe it when science tells us that the non-human world is in an existential crisis due to the human world, and when the non-human world goes down, it's going to bring us with it. I'm proud to continue to believe that the richest country on the planet can afford to treat its immigrants with basic human decency. And basic human decency means we don't continue to support genocide in the Middle East. And that the measure of our strength is never in how we can take advantage of someone, but in how we can lift people up in wholeness, in partnership, and mutually respectful collaboration. Let's keep the pain clean by facing the facts, dealing with them from a place of sanity and spiritual grounding. Along those lines, we actually have some really good models to follow in doing that. Many of whom I will be speaking about in the coming months. But I'm going to close this sermon with something one of those good models once said. Words to live by. Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Amen.
Would you please rise in body and or spirit and join me in singing out of the gray hymnal if you want to follow along with the music. It's number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere. The words are on the screens behind me. I think Sam's going to sing too. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Join me in singing our closing affirmation. Behind all our differences and beneath our diversity, there is unity that makes us one, binds us forever together throughout all time, life and death, and the space between the stars, out all time, life and death, and the space between the stars.
And this is what we do. We offer of ourselves. We share and accept from one another. And who we are and what we want to do with our lives becomes part of what we are all doing with our lives. We become a whole by being together. By joining our flames, our passions, we light the way towards a future. Amen. our service is ended.